Hey everybody, this video will be part 3 of a series of videos on modifying a Kodak Zi6 video camera to run on 18650 lithium-ion batteries. Here's the finished product. I decided to go and get this finished up so that way I could use the camera to do some video of the recent weather we've had, the snow. Yeah, we got about 3 or 4 inches of snow out there still. But anyways, this is the new camera. This was formerly Zi6 number 1. What I did was I used the housing from one of my parts donor Zi6 cameras I got, I think, for free. I used that in the existing main board and daughter board out of Zi6 number 1 and placed it all together inside of this. So anyways, you notice how I have the battery pack and the battery case on the back of the camera. I have it that way because I mount this camera inside my weather case. Not sure exactly where I placed it, but here is the back of it, which has a built-in microphone. But it's basically it's like a container like this, sorta. Except I had the hole for the tripod mount drilled a lot closer up to the front, and it would just sit in like this right there. That's how it would sit inside the case, and I would plug the mic in and put the back on the enclosure with the camera on the tripod, and so it's like there you have it. This is sort of an overview of how I actually done this, how I actually place everything together. That was the reason why I placed the battery box on the back of the camera. Now, if I was to do this to another Zi6 for this regular use, I would more than likely place the battery box on the front of the camera, like I have it on the Play Touch there. It's on the front, it's kind of out of the way. A lot easier to hold the camera in your hand, you know, that kind of thing. So, down inside there is the diode. I decided to leave the cover off the original battery compartment so that way the camera internals can get more ventilation. This will especially help the camera out during the summertime when I have this thing in the case and it's hot outside. It'll help the camera stay cooler, that way it won't overheat or anything. Also helps the diode get ventilation as well, so it can stay cool. Because as you may remember, it actually gets pretty warm. We're not even pulling quite, you know, its maximum rated amperage, but it still does get pretty warm. So again, this is the diode that's in there. It is a 1N5406 3 amp rectification diode. There you go. And we get roughly about 0.7, 0.8 volt voltage drop off, of the battery voltage using this diode. So that way, when the batteries get to about 3 volts, the camera's seeing about 2.2 and shuts off like it normally would with 2 AA's inside. Now, ideally, I would rather have been able to modify the camera's firmware to modify the values of what this thing sees as a full battery and what it sees as a dead battery. That way the battery meter on the screen would be more accurate, because of course now it's useless. I mean, if the only time the indicator, let's see, I'm gonna power this on. That's what I'm talking about right there, the indicator. If that shows anything less than full, then you know the battery's actually about dead, because it will go down pretty quickly once it starts to show that it's running out. Yeah, that would be nice, and also it'd be nice to go in and modify the firmware to completely delete the slow shutter function that's on by default and you can't turn it off, because that's one thing that absolutely kills this camera's performance in semi-low light situations. Let me see if I can demonstrate with this camera right now. There you go. You see how you get this jitter? But if I aim it toward the light, it's as clear as can be again. It even does it when I have it in HD60, which is very very annoying. But that's how they designed it, and they tell you that no, you can't turn it off, and if you want to turn it off, go buy a Zi8 or Zi10 Play Touch like that there. Now, although the Play Touch is actually a newer model, I find the Zi6, under good light conditions, actually puts out better quality 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second video in 720p. People out driving this mess. So in addition to the diode, I also place a 3 amp fuse in the circuit, just to feel a little bit safer. 3 amp as low as I had, and I think it's well sufficient considering this camera draws around an amp of current under. It's when the battery's getting low and you're running at 60 FPS, it draws around 1 amp to 1.1 amps or so. So it's plenty of headroom there, and I figure it would make sense to put a 3 amp fuse in there when you got a 3 amp diode, so you don't actually overload the diode. If there's any overcurrent situation inside the camera, something shorts out or whatnot, it will kick the fuse. So don't have to worry about the diode burning out or the batteries, because these are unprotected 18650 ICR cells from the laptop. Now, since they're quality cells, generally they should have protections in them. You have what's called a PTC disc in the front that would actually you would have to do some research on 18650s to really read it. But there's these cells do have some protections in them, but it's better to have. I think it's better to have a fuse on this. Now I don't actually have a fuse on the Play Touch. I kind of wish I did, but I mean, the Play Touch originally came with lithium-ion cells, so it was an easy upgrade. I mean, I meant to do another video on how to do a Play Touch mod later on, but focus on the Zi6. So that's now you might be wondering what kind of run times I'm getting out of this. It really depends on the batteries. Now these Panasonic batteries, they are not holding their full capacity, because when I recovered them, they were vastly over discharged, and I recovered them. While these batteries do not get hot or anything like that when I charge them, and they don't lose voltage sitting in storage, they do seem to have some internal resistance in a way, because when you put about an amp of current on the cells, or just any load, just for an example, you get a significant voltage drop. And they also do not do well in the cold at all. It was about 25 degrees last night when I finished video. Well, it was about 30 degrees all day yesterday, and I got roughly the same amount of footage that I would get out of 2 AA cells on a good day. About an hour and 3/4, 1 3/4 hours or so, hour 45 minutes. That's how much I got out of a set of these. But then I popped a set of Sony's in there, the green Sony batteries over there, the SFUS 18650 GRs. Popped a pair of these in there, and I got a little over 3 hours of footage. So that's not too bad. Those batteries are also in the same cold weather conditions. So in warm weather, they would actually perform better. So we do in fact get increased runtime out of the camera with lithium-ion cells. Now, if like I mentioned, if I could ideally go in and just modify the values for what this thing sees as full battery and dead battery, there would be no need in having the diode there, because the diode, unfortunately, is an efficiency loss. Whatever voltage drop that diode creates, it disperses its heat. And also, the camera's getting a lower voltage, so it's calling for more current to compensate. So yeah, it's just because of the fact that you can't go into modify this camera firmware. And trust me, I have looked and looked and looked and looked ever since I got one of these Zi6 cameras. I have looked for ways to modify the firmware, and unfortunately, have not found any luck at all. I haven't found any leads at all. So I'm having to do things the old-fashioned way. So yeah, it's not quite as efficient as I would like for it to be, ideally, but we do get increased runtime out of it, which is incredible. The thing I do like about the lithium-ion cells versus my AA cells, the nickel hydride cells that I have, is, these things, I've gone through about 4 sets of nickel hydride cells in the past about 8 years. I've gone through a crap ton of them. That's what happens is especially in the warmer weather conditions, they get to where they start to not hold a charge, where they start to get high internal resistance. Like for example, I have a set of Rayabacks over here somewhere from one of my previous sets. Yeah, there are some. I only had these for about 2 years, and they're completely shot. I mean, yeah, they're done. Very high internal resistance, very high self-discharge. Yeah, it's pitiful. Now I could charge them up, and a couple weeks later to be about dead. And see, with the lithium-ion batteries, they have very, very low self-discharge. I can charge them up whenever, and then sometime later on, pop them in the camera, and they're fully charged. Now, it's not quite the best thing to do, to leave your lithium cells fully charged all the time. It does negatively impact their capacity over time, which is why you should not have your laptop plugged in all the time. But the lithium-ion cells, they're very reliable, and in my case, they're absolutely free because I have so many of them. I mean, I got these, the LG Chems out of the HP pack. I got these Panasonics out of that old Dell pack, and in the case I need to replace batteries. You see that priority mailbox down there? Yeah, I wonder what's inside there. Like, holy cow, look at all the lithium-ion battery packs in there. See, I've got tons of 18650s. So, if any of my 18650s go bad, just recycle them and extract more of another pack and use them. So anyways, that concludes the video series on modifying your Kodak Zi6 or DXG 567V camera to run on lithium-ion batteries, particularly the 18650 batteries. So hope you guys enjoyed this video series. If you have any questions or comments about this, feel free to ask them. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, I sure hope you guys enjoyed this video from Q Computer Channel. Remember to like the video, subscribe to Q Computer Channel for more updates, and remember to tick the bell so that way you actually get notified of these updates. Did you know that I am also on a second channel? That's Bike Geek MTDX. Over there you'll find videos of bicycling, weather, elevators, and all sorts of other neat and interesting stuff. Feel free to subscribe to that channel as well. And again, I thank you for your support, and thanks for watching this video.